This project involved Year 5 children at a primary school in Derby as part of a wider initiative involving primary schools across part of the city. It focused on a theme of chocolate, which was a theme that was used to encapsulate a number of curriculum areas, as you can see, for half a term. The brief from the teachers had identified this as one of a number of possible areas that they would look at, they wanted to bring to life by involving an employer. And they also connected it to recognise, because this was drafted by their career-related learning champion, that there were opportunities to develop career aspirations. And they particularly recognised that there is a risk of stereotyping, including gender stereotyping, because there are large engineering firms locally, and very often it's assumed that there are career opportunities for lads rather than for the girls. So they wanted to address that, but they can see that in the brief they also wanted to engage parents in the scheme and produce fun, memorable experience which would inspire the children and maybe challenge some of their preconceptions. So they were looking for something that was related to their curriculum but was going to be a contribution towards career-related learning, but fun and memorable as well. So we try to encapsulate that in our Step 3 form, which tries to pull together the brief into something that's the basis of project-based learning. We thought about the kind of employers that might meet the brief, and I suppose our first idea was local chocolatiers. There was an example given on the outline plan, but actually there were several others. And we did actually approach, I think it was 4 in the end, locally. A couple were not interested or just didn't have the time or capacity or weren't particularly relevant. 2 were interested, but they were really struggling to see what was in it for them or to make the time for it. It just wasn't going to work. We then recognised that right in the centre of Derby, there's a Hotel Chocolat retail store in the middle of this into shopping centre. So a large shopping centre, a major store for what is actually a national and highly respected brand. The first approach, the email at the bottom here, was on the basis of having done a search on their website, rung their head office, got some details from somebody who might have been of interest or relevant, and we sent an email summarising what we had in mind and suggesting that we felt there might be benefits in terms of raising awareness about the local store and corporate social responsibility, CSR. And then there was a follow-up, having heard nothing back, to say, not only are we interested in working with you, but here, for example, is what it might look like. So we were trying to be proactive rather than just sort of badgering them and saying, can you tell us how you can help us? We're being constructive and illustrating how this might work, what it might look like, because it's often easier for people to grasp something when they see that. And the response we got was very quick and very positive. Thrilled to hear you have a genuine interest in Hotel Chocolat and the work we're doing. But redirecting it towards, believe it or not, their School of Chocolate, the development team. And she'd copied in the person that was going to be the contact. She, having been brought into this, needed a bit of additional information. And we provided that. We essentially rebriefed her about the purpose of the project, what the curriculum objectives were, what the learning was going to be that would be brought to life in the classroom. And we sent those draft PowerPoint slides. So we very succinctly tried to summarise everything that had gone before, including something about timing, so she could see when it was we were wanting to do that. So she had everything, hopefully, in that short email that she needed to respond. So in the meantime, we got additional feedback from the teacher who was leading this programme, focusing a little more on what it was that was going to be happening in the classroom, saying that they wanted to include a persuasive writing task as part of the learning objectives. So we incorporated that within the resources and identified that there might be PR opportunities for Hotel Chocolat youngsters providing feedback about what they'd learned about specifically engaged ethics. That was the term that the company was using to describe the way they went about doing things, their ethos. And in addition, we got some input from the local store. So they sent something that would really show that the company was genuinely interested in the work that the children were going to produce. This is what she said.
Hi, I'm Rachel and I work for Hotel Chocolat in Derby. I'm the supervisor here. So here in our shop we have different types of chocolate and it is all ethically sourced. We have a hotel in St Lucia where our plantation is. We're all about more cocoa, less sugar. So most of our chocolate has, the main ingredient is cocoa. Over at our selector range over here, we have all the different types of chocolate that we do, all the different flavours, and it ranges from alcohol all the way down to 100% cocoa slabs. I hear that you're doing a project about chocolate. We really look forward to seeing your project and all the hard work that you've put into it.
So we had to write. We're going to write them. We've written them a letter about deforestation and all about different like how to make eco-friendly chocolate and about the what we could do better to stop deforestation and be more eco-friendly.
Brilliant. What did you find out about Hotel Chocolat and being eco-friendly? Are they eco-friendly?
Parts of them are.
Okay. All right. So what did you find out that they do that's eco-friendly?
They use a lot of fully recyclable things like gift bags. They're not normally recycled.
Okay. Anything else? Did you find out about Hotel Chocolat, not just about recycling? What did you find out about the company? What do they make?
Chocolate.
They make chocolate. What type of chocolate? Describe the chocolate. What does it look like?
They make luxury posh chocolates.
Oh, luxury posh chocolate. They do. Yeah. Did you find out about any of the jobs? Did you see a little video of people's?
Oh yeah. So we watched a documentary and we saw and we looked at there was the people in the inventing room.
Yeah, amazing.
And they made all the different chocolates, and then there's the people who keep on. Then there's the testers who taste the chocolates and see if they'll pass.
Did you think there were jobs like that? Tasting, inventing chocolate? Does that sound like the type of job you'd like?
Do you like a job where you eat chocolate?
Of course you would. So how did he feel about the fact there are people whose job is to invent chocolate, to test chocolate?
Amazing.
Amazing, yeah. How do you feel? Your letters are going off to Hotel Chocolat now. You've been inspired by Hotel Chocolat. How do you feel if they write back and say, oh, great idea? What do you think?
I'd feel pretty amazed that they actually responded to me because they put in a lot of work and they might be a bit busy, but to actually take time to read the letters and respond.
But they're going to do that. They are going to look at your work. How did it change the way you went about the work, knowing that it was going to be sent off, or it might be chosen to be sent off?
I was more determined to make it as good as I can because it was actually going to Hotel Chocolat.
So as you heard, the children did respond to the challenge. They produced the work that was sent off, and they knew it was going to be sent off to Hotel Chocolat to get their response. And you can see from the teacher's comment that he was delighted with the impact it had in the classroom. This is somebody who was seeing what difference it made, knowing that the children's work was going to be seen by an expert, not just marked by a teacher. And he describes it as giving an extra oomph to the motivation of the youngsters in the classroom. The other positive feedback was from the employer, who expressed delight about receiving the youngsters' work and promising to give some feedback. She promised to write herself in response to the letters that the children had produced, and she did that at some length, specifically mentioning children's names. Alongside that, there was also a response from one of their chocolatiers talking about the bright ideas they had about designs, and actually some of them were great ideas, and he said so in his response. You can imagine how the youngsters felt about that. And then finally, there was feedback from the head teacher, who clearly got an eye on what was happening and was very keen on the idea of bringing classroom learning to life in principle. But what he'd seen was this happening in practice as an act of collaboration. And the final brief comment on that email says, can we talk about this within the school, thinking about how they can build on this experience of the one project. There were actually 2 curriculum projects they were piloting, in order to think about how they can build on that and develop the practice within the school, building their own capacity to do this for themselves. So the final video we're going to see is the feedback from the local store, the manager in the local store, having seen the children's work and saying how she felt about that.
Hi, welcome to Hotel Chocolat in Derby. I'm Alison, the store manager here, and I am just blown away by this work that you've done, talking about everything about chocolate and all the environmental issues that you feel so strongly about. Behind me, we've got our pledges, which you can see, but you already know about that because you've looked into this. But this is our chocolate shop, so much chocolate here. You should come in and visit us. But you are amazing, you've done amazing, continue with what you're doing and come and visit us and try a free chocolate.